Hello everyone, my name is Dee. Today we're going to make this top over here.
So this top is made to measure, and I made this for a size extra small, and I'll be telling you how to take your own measurements, and then you'll be able to make it as well.
So for the materials, you're going to need about 3 colors of your choice. You're going to need a tape measure, you're going to need a darning needle, and you're going to need some pair of scissors. And for the hook, I'm going to be using a 3.75 millimeter hook. Okay, that's what I'll be using. So I'll put this aside.
In order to make this top, you need to take your measurement from one rib cage to another. So that is half of your bust measurement, and then you're going to divide that.
Once you take that measurement, you're going to get that number and divide it by 2, okay? I'm going to give you guys an example of 13. So let's say you have measured yourself and you are 13 inches across from your one rib cage to another. You have 13 inches, so you're going to divide that number by 2, okay? So you divide it by 2, like so. So for me here, I'm getting 6.5. So that means my one granny square would have to be 6.5 inches. You know, when you take the measurement like this across, okay, from one point of your square to the other, it has to measure 6.5 inches. Okay, so then your second square will also measure the same, obviously, and then once you join it, it will obviously go to 13 inches. So I hope that is clear. And once you have that, of course, all the squares have to be equal and on the same level. We're going to be using simple stitches, so keep watching and let's get started. But before we do, please remember to subscribe and help this channel grow. I really appreciate you guys for sticking by and for, you know, always commenting and liking my videos. I'm grateful. So we are on our way to 30K, so help me get there, okay? Thank you in advance. Now let's head over to the tutorial. So this is the color I'm going to start with, and to get started we need to make a magic ring or a magic circle, and this is how I make mine. So you're going to make something like this, then you're going to insert your hook while holding this right here, pull up a loop, and then you're going to chain up 3, which is going to count as our first double crochet, then yarn over into that same ring, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. There you have 2 double crochets, yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Then you're going to do that until you have a total of 12 double crochets, counting the chain 3 as our first double crochet. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I have my 12 double crochets here, and I'm going to pull this tail to close it like so. And remember to weave this in instead of just cutting it, because if you do, then your work is going to unravel. So once you get to the end of the row, you're going to slip stitch on top of the chain 3, pull through, chain 1. I'm going to get my scissors and cut off the yarn because I'm going to change colors. Okay, so I'll cut and pull this tight. So right in that same stitch on top of the chain, you're going to insert your hook, because that is where we're going to start from. So make sure you have a total of 12 double crochets here. So next we're going to attach our next color, which is yellow. I'm going to make a slip knot. And then right on top of the chain, I'm going to insert my hook right here, and then I'm going to attach the new color. Chain 1 to secure it. So now I'm going to chain 1 and 2. That chain 2 does not count as a stitch. So you're going to yarn over, and into that same space where the chain is coming out of, you're going to insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, insert your hook for the second time, pull up a loop, yarn over again for the third time, insert your hook, pull up a loop. And then you'll have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You'll have a total of 7 loops on your hook, and then you're going to pull through all. Okay, pull through everything. Then you're going to chain 2, yarn over, and on top of this next stitch you're going to repeat what we just did here. So yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, insert your hook for the second time, pull up a loop, yarn over, insert your hook for the third time, pull up a loop, and you should have 7 loops on your hook, and then pull through all. You should have this. Chain 2, and you're going to repeat that in every stitch on top of every double crochet until you get back to the end. Okay, so yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, insert your hook into the same space, pull up a loop, yarn over, insert your hook into the same space, pull up a loop for the third time, and pull through everything. I'm going to repeat that all the way around. I have 1 stitch left, so I'm going to chain 2, all right, so that was my last stitch. I'm going to chain 2, then I'm going to slip stitch on top of the double crochet. Oops. Slip stitch right on top, chain 1, get your scissors and cut off the yarn, and at the end of that you should have something like this, and you should have a total of 12 of these. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. Okay, so now we're going to attach our new color. I'm going to start right here. Make a slip knot. Then attach your new color. Chain 1 2, which does not count as a stitch, yarn over, and into that same space you're going to make 3 double crochets. 1 2 3. Then you're going to chain 2, yarn over, into that same space you're going to make 3 more double crochets. So here you have 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, all in the same space. So here we have 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, all in the same space. So once you're done with that, you're going to yarn over and you're going to make 3 double crochets into the next chain 2 space. Yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, pull through 2, pull through the last 2, yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And you're going to do that for the 3rd time in that same space to have 3 double crochets like that. Next, you're going to yarn over into the next space. You're going to make 3 double crochets into that chain 2 space. There you have it. Yarn over into the next chain 2 space. We're going to make our 2nd corner. We're going to repeat what we started with here. So yarn over, make 3 double crochets, chain 2, yarn over, make 3 double crochets in that same space. All right, you should have something like this. Then you're going to yarn over and into the next chain 2 space you're going to make 3 double crochets, yarn over, make 3 double crochets in the next chain 2 space, yarn over, and we're going to make our 3rd corner right here. So make 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 more double crochets in the same space. So here we have our 3 corners so far. Now we're going to work and make our 4th corner. So we're simply going to repeat what we did here. Yarn over, make 3 double crochets into the next space, yarn over, 3 double crochets into the next space, yarn over, make our 4th corner, chain 2, 3 double crochets in the same space. So here we have 2 more spaces left. You're going to yarn over and make 3 double crochets, yarn over and make 3 double crochets into that next chain 2 space, and you should have this small granny square. To close this off, you're going to slip stitch on top of the next double crochet, so slip stitch, then you're going to slip stitch until you get to this chain 2 space. So slip stitch on top of the next stitch, slip stitch on top of the next stitch, slip stitch in the chain 2 space, chain 2, which does not count as a stitch, and then you're going to make a corner in this space where we have a corner in the chain 2 space. So simply yarn over and make 3 double crochets. That's 1, 2, 3, then chain 2, yarn over into that same space. You're going to make 3 more double crochets. That's my son in the background, guys. I'm a new mom, so he's always next to me. So once you have that, you're going to yarn over and into this space, okay, into this next space here, you're going to make 3 double crochets. Like that. Then you're going to yarn over and skip the next 3 double crochets and make 3 double crochets in that space. And we are now working on our last row, so you should have that. Then yarn over into this next space. You're going to make 3 double crochets, so skip the next 3 double crochets and make 3 doubles into that space. Next is our second corner, so we're going to yarn over and make 3 double crochets. That's 1, 2, and 3. Then chain 2, yarn over and make 3 more double crochets into that same space. Okay, so what we did here, we're going to repeat on these other sides of our square until we get to where we started from. So yarn over into the next space. You can count these next 3, so skip those 3 double crochets and into the next space make 3 doubles. Skip the next 3 and make 3 double crochets into the next space. Yarn over, skip the next 3 double crochets and make 3 doubles into the next. Then off to our third corner, yarn over, make 3 double crochets. Chain 2, 3 more doubles in the same space. So repeat this same pattern on this and this corner here. I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so once you get to the end of the row, you're simply going to slip stitch right on top of the first double crochet right there, chain 1, get your scissors and cut. The best thing to do when making squares is to weave in your ends before you move to the next square, or you're going to end up with so many of these but this is a small project, so you can just continue making all of the granny squares, all of the squares, and then you can weave in the ends at once. So next I'm going to show you guys how to make the hexagon. I'm going to show you how to make the pentagon. This is a pentagon, so it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 corners. Okay, so I'll show you how to make this next, and then I'll make the rest off camera, and then I'll be back and show you guys how we are going to attach them to each other to create the top that we are trying to make. To make our pentagon, we're going to start with a magic ring, just like we did with the square. And then for this first row, we're always going to count this first chain 3 that we make. Okay, so chain 3, which is going to count as your first double crochet, and then you're going to make 14 more double crochets into that same space. So into the ring, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and keep going until you have a total of 15 double crochets. And if you're still watching, guys, please remember to subscribe to my channel. I will really appreciate it. Help me get to 30K. Thank you. Back to the tutorial. You're going to make sure you have a total of 15. So let me count to see how many I got. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Then I'm going to pull this tail to close the ring like that. Then I'm going to slip stitch on top of this first chain, chain 1, get the scissors and cut off the yarn. So next is going to be this row that we made. I'm going to attach my yarn right into that same space that I slip stitched into. Make a slip knot. So insert your hook and you're going to pull through the loop. I'll put that aside. That first chain is just to secure the yarn. So chain 2, which does not count as a stitch. Then you're going to yarn over, and into that same space the chain is coming out of, going to insert your hook, pull up a loop. You'll have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, insert your hook into the same space, pull up a loop, and you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops on your hook, yarn over again, insert your hook into the same space, pull up a loop, and this time you'll end up with 7 loops on your hook. Then pull through all the 7 loops, just like that. Then you're going to chain 2, yarn over, then on top of the next stitch you're going to insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, insert your hook again in that same space, pull up a loop, yarn over the 3rd time, insert your hook, pull up a loop, and you should have 7 loops, and pull through all. Chain 2, and then you're going to repeat that across. Set your hook 3 times in the same space. Chain 2, into the same stitch you're going to set your hook 3 times, and at the end you'll have 7 loops and pull through all. Then chain 2 and repeat that pattern until you get to the end. So at the end of your second row, make sure you have a total of 15. So count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. And at the end of the row, remember to chain 2 and then slip stitch on top of that first double crochet. Like so. Chain 1. Get scissors and cut off the yarn. You should have something like this. I'm going to make a slip knot. I'm going to insert it right in this chain 2 space. Chain 2, which does not count as a stitch. Yarn over into that same space, make a double crochet, yarn over into that same space, make a second double crochet and a third one. So you have 3 double crochets right here. Then chain 2, and you're going to make 3 double crochets into this same space. This is what you should have. So once you're done with this, you're going to yarn over and into this next chain 2 space, you're going to insert your hook and make 3 double crochets all in that same space. Yarn over again into the next chain 2 space, make 3 double crochets. Into the next space, you're going to make a corner, so you're going to make 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 more double crochets in the same space. Should have something like this. Then yarn over into the next chain 2 space, you're going to make 3 double crochets, yarn over into the next chain 2 space, you're going to make 3 double crochets, yarn over into the next chain 2 space, you're going to make our third corner, which is 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 more double crochets all in that same space. Like that. Then yarn over, make 3 double crochets in the next chain 2 space, yarn over, make 3 double crochets into the next chain 2 space, Then the next space is going to be a corner, so make 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 more double crochets in the same space. So you have this. So every corner is separated by these 2 clusters. Then you're going to yarn over, make 3 double crochets into the next chain 2 space. Yarn over, make 3 double crochets into the next chain 2 space. Then you're going to yarn over and make your last corner, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 more doubles in the same space. Then make 3 doubles into the next chain 2 space. And 3 more doubles into the next chain 2 space. And at the end of the row, you're going to slip stitch on top of the first double crochet, like so. So for our last row, you're going to slip stitch until you get to the chain 2 space here. So slip stitch on top of the next 2 stitches and in the chain 2 space, like that. Then chain 2, which does not count as a stitch, and make your first corner for this row, for this round. So make 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 more doubles in the same space. Then next you're going to yarn over, skip the next 3 stitches, and into this space you're going to make 3 double crochets. Yarn over, skip the next 3, and make 3 double crochets in that space. Yarn over, into the next space you're going to make 3 double crochets. Then you're going to make our next corner, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 more double crochets in that same space. Then yarn over, skip 3, and make 3 double crochets. Yarn over, skip 3, and make 3 double crochets into the next space. Yarn over, skip 3, and make 3 double crochets into the next space. And then you're going to make our third corner for this row. Alright, so you're going to repeat what we just did here. You're going to repeat that pattern all the way until you get to this chain that we started with. Okay, so I'll do the rest off camera and I'll be back to show you guys the next step. Okay, So give me a minute. So once you get to the end of the row, you're going to slip stitch on top of the first double crochet from, you know, when we started the row. Chain 1 and cut off the yarn. It will look like it's curled up or curling up, but that's okay. Okay, we're going to attach the granny squares and it will straighten up. So go ahead and weave in all your tails, and I'll be back in a minute to show you guys how we're going to join this and turn it into the beautiful top that we are trying to make. So you're going to go ahead and make, these are 2, 3, 4, 5. You're going to make 5 granny squares. You're going to make 5 squares, okay? And then you're going to need one of these pentagon, okay? So next we're going to align this very well. I'm just going to show you how it's going to be aligned, and then we'll go ahead and join it, okay? Then this is going to go right here. This will go here. Okay, so now we're going to join them, and yeah, we'll turn this into a beautiful top. I'm going to be using the yellow color to join it. So I'm going to make a slip knot. So we're going to attach this one last, okay? The pentagon will be last. So I'm going to start joining from here. I'll join these two, then come like this, then like this, and like this, and then we'll join this one here after. I'll just show you guys on these two first. I want to join them from the right side. So here, remember, we chained 2. Okay, we chained 2 here, right? So you're going to go into one of those chain 2 that we made, insert your hook, and you're going to insert to do the same on the other side. Okay, I've attached my hook is in one of the chains from this side. Okay, so that means I have one chain here and one chain here as well. So I'm going to attach my yarn. I'm going to pull it through. It's too close. So I'm going to chain 1 to secure the yarn. Then I'm going to chain 1 again. Okay. Then next I'm going to insert my hook in here, like in the chain 2 space. Okay, I'm going to insert my hook in the chain 2 space and slip stitch, and then I'll insert my hook in the next square that's at the back, like so, and slip stitch as well. Okay, so now we have this first double crochet here. So I'm going to insert my hook, pull up a loop, and pull through like so. And then I have this stitch here, and I'm going to insert my hook from the front. okay, not from the back but from the front, like this, and then I'm going to slip stitch. Okay, then into the next double crochet, insert your hook, slip stitch, then insert your hook on top of the next double crochet into the next double crochet, and then you're going to slip stitch there as well. And this is how I'm going to join my squares. Going through every stitch from the front. So since we have the same number of stitches, everything needs to be aligned very carefully. So here we have joined our first 2 squares, and I'm left with the chain 2 spaces on both squares that I need to work into. So just keep trying to align them to make sure that you are not making any mistakes in how you're joining your squares. This is here. So after every square, align them again to make sure that you are doing the right thing. So now from here, I'm going to start joining going upwards to join it like so. I'm going to attach my 3rd square. So I'll put those aside. Then here, so I still have the chain 2 spaces of both squares that I haven't worked into, and my last slip stitch was on this square, so I'm going to slip stitch in the chain 2 space of this next square like this, and then slip stitch into this next one like that, and then I'm going to slip stitch into this next corner of my 3rd square to attach it. Alright, so to attach the 3rd square, I'm going to insert my hook in the chain 2 space and make a slip stitch. Okay. Then I'm going to insert my hook on top of this first granny square, on this first stitch on this other granny square. I hope I'm not confusing you guys. Like so. Then slip stitch, then slip stitch on top of the next stitch on the opposite square. So insert and slip stitch, and you're going to repeat with the pattern. Just insert your hook from the front and slip stitch. And there you have it. I have joined the 3 squares so far. I love how it's looking so far, guys. It's nice. Okay, so we put it together again. Like that. Then this is gonna be right here. Okay, so this here is going to be the next square to be chained. So what I'm doing is, this is where I left off when I cut off my yarn, so I'm trying to avoid having to chain from this space. Alright, so I'm going to make my last slip stitches on this one. Alright, so next we're going to attach our next square, which is this one. So I'm going to grab it, insert my hook, and slip stitch. So I just slip stitched into my 4th square. Then attach your last square the same exact way we attached the rest. Okay, so insert your hook and slip stitch, and then continue making slip stitches as you join until you get to the end of both squares, and then we are going to join the pentagon last and then make the straps, and we'll be done with the tutorial. Okay, so keep going. Once you get to the end of both squares, you're going to chain one, and then you're going to pull through that last strand and pull it tight, and you'll have to weave that in later, and your work should be looking like this at this point. So next we're going to attach our pentagon right here in the middle. So make a slip knot, and basically you're just going to attach it the same exact way we attached the squares. So insert your hook, pull through, chain one, then you're going to get the next square and make a slip stitch, and then you're going to make slip stitches. So keep going. Let me meet you when you get to the next corner. Once you get to the center of your pentagon, you're going to you see here we have these chain two spaces, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to cross over to the other square that you're going to join next, and in the chain two space of that square you're going to make a slip stitch. So slip stitch right there, and then continue attaching the pentagon, making slip stitches. So make a slip stitch in the chain two space of the pentagon for that corner, and basically that's what you're gonna keep doing. Then continue making slip stitches, the zigzag slip stitch, until you get to the end of both sides. Once you get to the end, you're going to slip stitch in the chain two spaces, then chain one, get your scissors and cut off the yarn. Then pull that tight, and this is what you should have. Then next you're going to make a slip knot, and then you're going to attach it on one of the corners. It doesn't matter really. Then you're going to chain one to secure the yarn, and then you're going to slip stitch on top of the next stitch, and you're going to continue making slip stitches until you get to the next corner. So for me, I have started from the pentagon, and we need straps around the pentagon, right? So yeah, when we get to the corner, we're going to do something different. So in the chain two space that we have here, I have already slip stitched into. I'm going to chain four and slip stitch again in that same space. and I'll have something like that. And then continue making slip stitches on top of every stitch until I get to the next corner. Here I have reached the corner, so I'm going to slip stitch, chain 4, slip stitch again in that same chain 2 space, and this is what you should have. Then continue making slip stitches on top of every stitch, going all the way down. So once you get to this space, you just slip stitch in the chain 2 spaces of both squares, and that's basically it. That's all you have to keep doing. So continue making slip stitches until you get to the last square where we're going to make a chain around that space as well, just like we did for the pentagon. So get there and then I'll show you what to do. So once you get to that corner, you're going to chain 3 and slip stitch in that same space, which is a chain 2, and then from there continue making slip stitches until you get to the corner on the other side of your top, and then you will repeat doing the same thing to make that chain 4, then slip stitch in the same space for your strap. Okay, so I'll continue with this until I get to the end. I'm working on my last strap. Chain 4, slip stitch in that same space, and then continue making slip stitches until you get to where we started from. Once you reach the end, you're going to slip stitch in the next chain 2 spaces of both squares, and then you're going to chain 1, get your scissors and trim off the yarn. Okay, and your top should be looking like this. So the last thing we're going to do is make the chains, and I'm going to show you how to do it on this corner. Okay, so you're going to make a slip knot, and then the loop we made here, you're going to insert your hook in that loop, and then you're going to pull through. Okay, like that. Then you're going to chain 3, yarn over and make a double crochet into that loop. Oops, like that. Chain 3, yarn over, make a loop in that same between the chain and the double crochet. Chain 3, yarn over and make a double crochet between the chain and the double crochet you made previously, and you're going to repeat that until you have enough for the length that you need. I'm going to make a total of 20 loops, and that's it. If you're still here, please remember to subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. I will very much appreciate it. So I now have my 20 loops. I'm going to chain one, get my scissors and cut. Then I'm going to tie a knot here. Then I'm going to trim this off. Then with my darning needle, I'm going to thread this and that's the tutorial, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and please remember to tag me if you recreate this top, and also don't forget to subscribe. Let me know in the comment section below what you think, and I'll see you in my next video. Okay, so bye bye.